If you're a fan of the tactical renaissance led by games like Ready or Not and Insurgency, then Zero Hour is likely already on your radar. Developed by Bangladeshi studios, this game emerged from a long early access period to its full 1.0 release in late 2024, carving out a unique niche as a serious, slow-paced tactical shooter. As of 2026, it remains one of the most interesting entries in the genre. Here is an in-depth breakdown of the Zero Hour experience, but before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more content like this. Unlike the high-speed heroics of Rainbow Six Siege, Zero Hour is obsessed with the prep. It is a game where a 30-second firefight is preceded by 5 minutes of staring at a 3D planning table. The game is set in fictionalized locations across Bangladesh. This provides a refreshing aesthetic break from the typical North American or European urban environments seen in other shooters. In Zero Hour, the gameplay is a tug-of-war between high-tech surveillance and low-tech grit. It distinguishes itself by making preparation just as dangerous and important as the shooting itself. Before anyone fires a shot, the attacking team gathers around a holographic 3D table of the map. In this phase, you can literally draw lines on the map to show your team where to move, which doors to breach, and where to hold angles. This isn't just a menu, it's a commitment. Everyone sees the plan in real time. Unlike Rainbow Six Siege, where you have infinite gadgets every round, Zero Hour forces you to be frugal. The team stock is limited. If your team has 5 grenades and you use 3 in the first round, you only have 2 left for the next. Even the environment is a weapon in Zero Hour. Every building has a power box. Attackers can cut the power to force the map into total darkness. This shifts the meta. You use flashlights, which give away your position, or NVGs, which have a grainy, limited field of view and make you vulnerable to light traps. The door interaction is the most complex door system in the genre. You can crack it open to check for traps or grenades, kick it to force entry instantly, or use C2 charges that blow the door off its hinges. This will kill anyone standing too close. The shooting is designed to be heavy and punishing. There is no magic HUD telling you how many bullets you have in your gun. You have to hold a button to physically pull the magazine and estimate the weight/look at the bullets. A tactical reload saves your partial mag for later, while a fast reload drops the mag on the floor to save time. If you're carrying a heavy shield or long rifle, you move like a tank, making you a sitting duck if you're caught in the open. One of the game's most unique features is the K9 companion. You start with a puppy in the training hub. To deploy it, you have to complete missions to age and train it. In missions, the dog can sniff out traps, find the hostage, or take down suspects. If your dog dies because you gave a bad command, it's gone. You have to start over with a new puppy, which adds a heavy emotional weight to your tactical decisions. In Zero Hour, progression isn't about unlocking better guns that give you a statistical advantage. Instead, it's about resource persistence and cosmetic prestige. The game wants to keep the playing field level while making every individual mission feel high stakes. The game uses a match point and resource management system that makes it feel more like a tactical campaign than a standard shooter. You earn points based on your performance as objectives completed, civilian safety, and survival. These contribute to your global rank and leaderboard position. In 2026, the ranking system is much tighter, often grouping players by tier to ensure veterans aren't stomping newcomers. As you play, you earn currency to buy weapon aesthetics. Unlike many modern shooters, Zero Hour leans into fictional realism. The skins look like they belong on a real battlefield, not a neon rave. And then we have the K9 journey. This is the most emotional progression. You don't just equip a dog. You name a puppy, and it stays in your training hub. You must complete 3 missions successfully before the puppy grows up and becomes a deployable K9 unit. If the dog dies in the field, that progress is reset, and you have to start with a new puppy. PvE is designed for those who want a SWAT simulator experience. You can play solo with AI squad mates or with up to 10 players in co-op. The AI doesn't just see and shoot. They have morale. If you flashbang a room or kill their leader, some suspects might drop their weapons and surrender. However, some are fanatics who may pull a hidden secondary or trigger a suicide vest if you get too close without cuffing them. Added in the 1.0 release. If you take a non-lethal hit, you enter a downed state. You aren't dead yet, but you need a teammate with a medkit to revive you. This changed the PvE meta from lone wolfing to staying in tight pairs. Objectives can shift. A simple hostage rescue might turn into a bomb defusal if the suspects get spooked and start a timer. PvP is the hardcore heart of the game. It's 5v5, round-based, and extremely punishing. The attackers focus on surveillance. They have drones, shields, and the ability to cut the power to the building. Defenders instead focus on trapping. They can place motion alarms, trap doors with grenades, and hide in unconventional spots like underbeds or inside closets. PvP is often won or lost at the breaker switch. If attackers cut the power, the game becomes a horror movie. Defenders might have a few flares or flashlights, but attackers usually have the NVG advantage. Though NVGs now prevent you from aiming down sights properly, forcing you to use IR lasers. Every PvP round starts with a mandatory planning phase. This is where you draw your execute routes. In 2026, the community has developed set plays similar to professional Counter-Strike, but the destructible environment and power-cutting mechanics usually throw those plans into chaos. In Zero Hour, the visuals and audio aren't just aesthetic choices. They are active gameplay mechanics. If you aren't paying attention to the way the world looks and sounds, you are essentially playing with a handicap. While Zero Hour may not have the multi-million-dollar gloss, it excels in environmental storytelling and visual utility. Most shooters use video game scale. Hallways are wider than real life so players don't get stuck. Zero Hour uses real-world dimensions. This makes rooms feel claustrophobic and forces you to think about weapon length. A long rifle will physically clip into walls, making short-barreled carbines or SMGs visually superior for tight interior raids. The lighting system is a core pillar. When you cut the power, the game utilizes eye adaptation. If you don't have NVGs, your eyes will slowly adjust to the dark, giving you a faint, grainy outline of the room. These aren't just a green filter. Using NVGs in 2026 feels visceral. They limit your peripheral vision and make bright lights, like a teammate's flashlight or a muzzle flash, physically blinding. The visual design of the maps, modeled after locations like Dhaka, brings a unique color palette and architectural style that feels lived in and gritty, moving away from the generic warehouses seen in other tactical sims. In Zero Hour, sound is more reliable than sight. The developers overhauled the audio for the 1.0 release using real-life weapon samples to ensure punchiness. The game uses 3D spatial audio for voice chat. If you shout to a teammate, an enemy in the next room can hear you. This forces teams to use radio, or even better, hand signals and minimal noise. This game also have material-based footsteps. You can distinguish between a suspect running on wood, glass shards, or concrete. Pro players often listen for the crunch of broken glass to know exactly which entry point has been breached. One of the best audio features is the lack of a constant musical score. You are left with ambient hums, the buzzing of a fly, or the distant sound of rain. When a gunshot finally breaks that silence, the high dynamic range makes it feel genuinely startling. Every action has a distinct sound cue. You can hear a defender re-pinning a grenade, the distinct click of a fire selector switch, or the rustle of gear when someone leans around a corner. In the landscape of 2026, where many shooters have chased the live service dragon or became bloated with microtransactions, Zero Hour feels like a stubborn, glorious relic. It isn't trying to be the most popular game on Twitch. It's trying to be the most authentic tactical experience for a very specific type of player. Personally, I think 0 Hour is at its best when it's at its most broken. By that, I mean the moments where your perfect plan falls apart because a teammate tripped a wire or the power cut out 10 seconds too early. It captures the unpredictability of CQB better than almost any other title. It's clunky, yes. It has a learning curve that feels like a brick wall. But when you finally clear a room with a K9 unit and a perfectly timed flashbang, the satisfaction is unmatched. If you want a polished, cinematic experience, go play Ready or Not. But if you want a game that feels like a raw, high-stakes chess match played with loaded guns, 0 Hour is your game. And consider that this game is created by a very small team, and it's the cheapest option for this genre, only $10 on Steam. So, is 0 Hour still worth your time in 2026? If you value tension over high-octane action, the answer is a resounding yes. It's a budget-friendly, tactical powerhouse that proves you don't need a massive studio to create a massive atmosphere. But hey, that's just my take. I want to hear from you. Have you tried the new K9 training mechanics yet? Or are you still getting haunted by the traps in the cafe map? Drop a comment below and let's talk tactics. But before diving into your next match, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more deep dives and tactical breakdowns just like this one. If you found this review helpful, hitting that like button really helps the algorithm find more tactical fans like us. Thanks for watching, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the breach.